Do you want to learn the secret to a long and happy life? What if I told you this secret is available to everyone and costs you nothing? Stay tuned.
I'm Kathleen Toomey, host of the podcast Seniority Authority, where I track down the experts to answer your questions on aging.
Welcome to Seniority Authority, where we get smarter about growing older. This all started because of a cocktail party. I live in a small town and have worked at a retirement community for 16 years. Recently, friends started pulling me aside at parties to ask, I think my dad has Alzheimer's, but how do I know for sure? My aunt needs assisted living. What is that? And how do I find a good one? I'm not a nurse, but I know some very smart ones. So I would find the answers. Then I realized, if my friends have these questions, so must others. That's how Seniority Authority was born. A place to find answers to your questions on aging. I track down the experts and share the latest news and research so you can get smarter about growing older. Today, I've tracked down an expert who has figured out the secret to a long and happy life. This secret was identified in the world's longest scientific study of happiness, over 85 years, conducted by Harvard University. And the secret is available to everyone and costs you nothing. Without further ado, let me welcome Dr. Robert Waldinger, Professor of Psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, Director of the Harvard Study for Adult Development, TED Talk Top 10 speaker, Zen priest, and author of the new book, The Good Life. Welcome to the show, Dr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's so great to see you. And what I want to do is talk about why this study began. What was the goal of this scientific study of happiness?
It was an unusual goal in 1938 when it began. The goal was to study what helps people thrive as they go through their lives. That most of the research that had been done was on what goes wrong so we can help people, improve. But this was a study of what goes right in development, young adulthood into all the way into old age. What are the things that predicts who's going to thrive and who's going to have a good life?
Now, this study, which has been ongoing for 85 years, there are so many variables that you cover in the study, from the books on the shelves to what they ate, to what they believed, to their exercise and physical health and marital status and financial status. But it boiled down to one important factor, which I can't believe after 85 years. What was the one factor that made the determinant?
Well, we couldn't believe it either, so you're not alone. So what we found was that the people who stayed happiest and also healthiest were the people who were more connected to other people, who had more connections, warmer connections with others in their lives. And it made sense to us that you might be happier if you had better relationships with people. But how could that actually get into your body and change your health? And that's what we've been studying. Many other research groups have found the same thing. So we know that this is a scientific fact.
Because this was not just the Harvard study. This has been verified by other studies, as I understand it.
Absolutely. And our Harvard study started both with Harvard College undergraduates, a really privileged group, but also a group of boys from Boston's poorest neighborhoods and most troubled families. So both very privileged people and very underprivileged people. And it worked the same way in both groups.
That's incredible. So good relationships make the difference between a long, happy, and healthy life. Let's take an example. Let's see an example of someone who actively sought out new relationships.
My name is Willard Floss, but I go by Bill, and I'm 82 years old. You're only as old as you feel, and I really don't feel 82. Curiosity is part of that component because, if you get up, I'm wondering about things. What's going to happen today in my world where I'm engaged here in a retirement community amongst residents and staff. As far as I'm concerned, they're my family.